Hey everyone, it is actually May 19th today, and I haven't really done a video for a little bit just because I've just had a lot. My blood work took forever to come back, and so I just kind of wanted to get everything together before giving an update, so I didn't have to do like mini updates. So let me just start off by saying that I am done with the antibiotics, and I finished those probably about a couple weeks ago, but I'm still on the birth control. So I have been taking that every evening, and the nausea from the birth control has subsided, which is great. I was afraid it would kind of stick with me. I still get a little sick in the evening times, but nothing extreme. And I found that as long as I eat something before I take it, then it's pretty good. The only other side effect I've had with the birth control is that I am extremely hungry 24/7. And then also my breasts are they feel very large, and they're very tender, which is something that I didn't think happened when you did take the pill, but from what I've been told from other people, that it is a common symptom when you first start the birth control again. So, with that being said, everything's going great as far as the medications and whatnot. Monday, which was the 12th of May, I had to go up to Charlottesville with my husband, and he had to get his sperm analysis done again, and they do a little bit more testing, and it's a little bit more I don't want to say invasive, a little bit more detailed than if you were just going to have your semen analysis for like IUI or something like that. So, and that was and the reason why he had to do it again, he had it done twice already, but he had to do it again because we're trying to get that shared risk program, and in order to qualify for that, we have to have tests ran. So, he did that, and he cracked me up because he said that he was taking his little swimmers in the bottle, I guess, in the little cup that you have to put them in, and he was taking it to the lab, and he dropped them. And at first, I didn't know if he had did he drop them and they fell all over the floor? Like, what the heck happened? So, but he said no, they were fine. They were just a little shook up, so he said he probably should have told the people at the lab if they are running into each other that just give them some time. He had dropped them on his way to the lab. So never had that happen before, so it was pretty funny. And then I had to have my SIS, and I'm not sure what the actual verbiage is for that, but I had to have that done. And basically what it is they're putting saline solution up into your uterus to see if you have any polyps or any blockages or anything like that. And everything came out great. So, and then we also had to do a mock transfer, and the mock transfer, basically all it was he took the catheter and he stuck it into my cervix, and basically just wanted to make sure it was easy to get in there and how far he could get the catheter up in there, and everything looked great. It was so easy. The only uncomfortable part about it was you had to have a full bladder. So that being said, it was a little uncomfortable. I mean, because they are actually, when they're doing that mock transfer, they're actually like pushing down on your stomach with the ultrasound piece, and then he's inside with the catheter rummaging around and everything, and so the nurse who's pushing down on it, it's really uncomfortable as far as a full bladder. But other than that, it didn't hurt at all. As far as we did get to meet with the doctor, Dr. Williams. I really like him. My husband likes him as well. He went over all the standard stuff, like how many embryos to put in, one or two, what our chances are for twins or multiples, and things of that nature. And he kind of just went over the whole IVF process itself, and like going over the freezing the embryo option. And so basically what we figured out is my husband really wanted to do the genetic testing, which added about I think it was $5,000 to do the genetic testing. And basically what it does is they do genetic testing on the embryos before they insert them, and that way you can tell if they're going to have like something like maybe like Down syndrome or something like that. And we actually got talked out of it, which I was kind of glad. I didn't know that if you do the genetic testing, they actually have to, it takes a while for the test to come back, so you actually have to wait about 6 to 8 weeks, and then you have to use a frozen embryo cycle for your IVF if you were to do the genetic part. And so, you know, with everything going on, I really didn't want to have to wait another 6 to 8 weeks to do everything. So, and then he also said that genetic testing is basically done with anyone who is probably like close to 40, and then if you have like problems with your eggs already, or if maybe the genetic, maybe you have something in your family that just, it's genetic and, you know, runs in your family, then at that point you would want to definitely do genetic testing. But he said everything that they test for is in the less than 1% range, and so and they can't test for every single thing, so you know it doesn't mean that you're going to be out of the woods, so to speak, even if you did the genetic testing. So he actually advised not to do it. So my husband was okay with that, and so we decided not to do that. And then he also, we thought we were going to have to do what's called the ICSI, which is a rescue. Basically what happens is if the eggs in the sperm, if they don't fertilize the eggs within like, I think it's like a day, then they have to actually force the sperm into the egg, which they do it with a syringe or a needle, and they basically make it fertilize the egg. He says he doesn't foresee that being a problem. He said it's very, very rare, and that if it became an issue after they put the sperm and the eggs into the Petri dish, if it didn't fertilize, then at that point they will call us and say, hey, we have to do this, and then we would have to pay them at that point. So that was good. And then as far as the embryos, he says one embryo has a high success rate as far as like, I think it was like 30 or 40%. But then if you inject 2 embryos in at one time, then of course it ups it to 50 and 60%. And he says the only thing with the 2 is that you do run a good chance of having twins, which my husband and I have already discussed, and I would rather have twins the first go around, just in case for some reason I couldn't do it again. So we're definitely doing that route. And then as far as the transfer day, he said that if we only have like 2 or 3 eggs, then he normally likes to do a transfer on day 3. But if we have more than that, then he would probably suggest waiting to day 5, only because at that point, you know, typically like marathon runners, when they first start out, they're about the same pace, but toward that last mile of the marathon, you're going to see who your good runners are. And so he says on day 5 he can see who his good runners are, and that way he can make sure he puts in the best embryos that we have, which I definitely appreciated that. I don't mind waiting an extra couple of days just to have that done. And then the last thing we talked about was when we freeze our embryos, if something were to happen to me or my husband, like we passed away at the same time, or maybe we just, you know, decided we didn't want any more kids after we've had the few that we've got, what we wanted to do with the frozen embryo. We could either just discard them, or we could allow them to use them for research, or we could also allow them to use them for donation, like to another couple who maybe can't have kids of their own. So it would be anonymous. So we're definitely going that route. We don't mind the research part, but the ones that are going to be frozen are going to be healthy embryos, and so I just figured why not give them to someone who's having some difficulty as well, and that way they could have a healthy child, even if for some reason they can't produce the eggs, or maybe they didn't want to use a donor, but the woman wants to carry a child. Why not give her that chance to do so? So that's what we're going to end up doing. I did speak with the IVF nurse, and she didn't have any of my blood work back at that time, so I waited a couple more days, and then I finally got my blood work back, which it all came back really good. My TSH level, which is what I'm on the Synthroid for, it was actually a 1.9, which is great because they wanted under a 2.5, and before it was like 2.53 something or another. So 1.9 is really good. And then my AMH, which I didn't really know that they had tested me for, is a 3.9, which they said that is also excellent, so that's great. And then my hepatitis B came back before it came back saying that I was reactive, and so I had to go through and do another test on that, and then I had to contact my local primary care physician, and they had to look over my paperwork and everything else, and come to find out after all the other tests came back, it was I'm immune to it. And what happened was I could have been exposed to it at one point or another in my lifetime, and so my antibodies were reactive. But because I've had the actual vaccines for it, it showed up as well, saying that I did have the antibodies to fight it off. And so they basically said I was immune to it and it wasn't a problem. So it definitely was a relief to hear that. And then, of course, my husband's sperm analysis came back great. He's never really ever had a problem, but we did have to do that extra test just to make sure everything was still A-OK. So I did call today, which is actually my husband and I's anniversary. It's our 2-year anniversary, so we're kind of excited for that. And I called because my baseline appointment is tomorrow, and if we did qualify for the shared risk, we have to pay the $20,000 tomorrow. So I didn't hear anything last week about it, so I called today and we were approved. So I'm very excited, and I'm waiting on a call to get all the numbers. Like, I don't know if they add tax and everything else, so just to figure out what we're gonna how we're gonna pay for it all. So I'm really, really excited. The only other thing that I had a question with the doctor is that with the birth control, I've gained a little bit of weight. Not a lot, maybe just a few pounds, but I've been feeling kind of blah and frumpy, meaning that there's definitely places that I've gained a little bit of fat, even though I might not have gained it weight as far as the scale is concerned, but my clothes aren't really fitting properly anymore. And it's not just the birth control, it's kind of like everything. Since we started in January, I hadn't been exercising or eating as well as I should have been. And, with the hormone medications and everything, it kind of makes you want to eat or just feel blah in the first place. So I did ask the doctor if I could exercise before my IVF cycle, and he said absolutely not. They do not want you exercising at all. The only thing I can do is I can do a lot of walking if I want to. I can run on a treadmill. I'm sorry, not on a treadmill. I could run on an elliptical. But no running on treadmills, no running outdoors. And mainly because they said once you start stemming, your follicles, they're going to start getting pretty big. And right now, he said I have 14 possible follicles, but he's hoping maybe 10 to 12 will grow. And once they start growing, he said if you're still exercising at that point, that the impact can actually cause them to twist, and so it'll cause more pain and more harm to you. So he definitely said not to exercise. Basically, don't change what I've been doing. So all I've been doing is walking a lot, and I've been eating a little bit healthier and everything to help everything. And then I did ask, because I am going to North Carolina to see some friends this weekend for Memorial Day, and they do have jet skis and they have boats and everything. I did ask if I could at least get on the jet skis and play around, because I love jet skis, and if I could ride on the boats and whatnot. And he said that because I will just be starting my injections, that I definitely could go and have some fun, and basically just say, go have some fun, because once we get you pregnant, you're not going to be able to do that stuff anymore for a long time. So I did get the okay to go and have some fun. I won't be drinking or anything like that, but just something to do to relax, stress reliever, I guess, because the end of this month, the last week is going to be very busy because I have my follow-ups, and then I might have to go up to Charlottesville like every day, which is going to suck, but in the long run, it will be worth it. I'm totally preparing myself for that. So that being said, if anyone has any suggestions on what to do, like eat, drink, before the IVF, or any ideas on how to prepare for it, what to do when you're on bed rest, just anything and everything, please, please, please let me know. This is our first time, so I'm brand new at this, and I know some people have already been through it at least once. So all advice and any information is very, very welcomed. I will definitely update you after my baseline tomorrow. I should get some more information as far as scheduling, hopefully. And so I think that's about it. So I hope everyone had a great week, great weekend, great month. And congratulations to all those who had gotten their BFPs, and to everyone else who's still trying. You're in my thoughts and prayers, and I just want to wish you the best of luck in the future. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so to keep following my journey, and give me a thumbs up if you like the video. I hope everyone has a great day. Bye.